workshop meeting for Monday, September 23rd to order at 6:05. And we have a roll call, please.
Councilmember White.
Here.
Councilmember Cook.
Here.
Councilmember Fairley.
Here.
Councilmember Osborne.
Here.
Councilmember Thomas.
Here.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 4, presentations, waste management contract amendment. Go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening, council. I will wait till the presentation comes up this time. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm Jeanette Jurgensen from Bender Consulting, and it's been a pleasure working with your staff and waste management on this solid waste collection contract update. Next slide. So the purpose of tonight's presentation is to update you on where we are with the solid waste collection contract extension with waste management. Next slide. A quick.
We're not working over here.
Monitors are. Sorry.
I honestly don't have this.
Okay.
Would you like me to take a break? A quick break?
I'll play with it while
A
you.
little close.
Oh, you're. Yeah, the hard way is hard.
When you used to have to sit up for sure.
And you're welcome to follow along with the PowerPoint in your packet if you'd like.
Okay. All right.
So a very quick background is the city's 10-year solid waste collection contract with waste management expires on October 31st, 2026. And this contract allows 2 extensions of 2 years each by mutual agreement. An extension, as we talked about, would keep rates lower, but it wouldn't provide as many new benefits, and council directed staff to explore the contract extensions. This is an update on that. So waste management agreed to provide the city with a 2-year extension at no additional cost, which is wonderful news. As part of this extension, we're going to do an amendment, and there's going to be 2 main things in the amendment. One is changing the contract language to match current operations, and the second is we have a bunch of enhancements that have been added at no cost that will be implemented as soon as the contract is executed. You will not have to wait until the extension actually starts. Next slide. So the elements that I mentioned, we were going to change in the contract just to bring it to match with current operations. There's 4 elements. As you can see on the slide, residential collection hours, the contract says it starts at 6. They really start at 7. Compostable services listed in your contract is bi-weekly when it's actually every other week. So again, this is not going to change any of your current operations. Everything we're just fixing the paperwork.
So I got a question. Changing it from weekly to every other week is sometimes if they're going to be picking up 3 times, they're going to get charged for 3 times.
Rates will stay exactly the same. So it'll be how the contract's been implemented. It was just a different wording when the contract was rolled out. But we'll continue with every other week, rates will stay the same. In the call center, Waste Management has modernized their call center where all calls go through the automated phone system. So we've updated the language to reflect that. And the last thing is we've updated the City Hall address for notices. So the next slide are the things that we should all be very excited about. First one is Waste Management is increasing the senior discount from 10% to 25% to match code. Again, this is at no additional cost to any of the other customers. They heard about the extra charges, and now your contract will match most of the other collection contracts where the lids have to be open more than 6 inches before you get an extra charge, not just a teeny tiny bit. Yes. So these are 3 amendments that we're doing at no cost. And the last one is an improvement to the inclement weather. In your contract, the wording is not really possible without negotiated with them. And what we're gonna do is the same thing that we've been doing. So if you're missed, it's the next collection day. So for garbage would be 1 week later, for recycling and garbage would be 2 weeks later. But the great thing about we've negotiated with staff and waste management is we have options for the city. So depending on what that storm looks like, the city can ask waste management to pick up recycling instead of compost. So if your recycling was missed, it's the holidays, you have a ton of recycling, the city can say, let's skip the yard waste because no one's generating that in January, and let's do another recycle week and then we'll get back on schedule. And so this is at the city's discretion. The other thing we have is we can ask waste management to bring a drop box in the parking lot outside of City Hall for either recycling or yard waste. So if we have over, we miss due to weather and people have a bunch of material, we'll have a drop box right here in Algona where people can come drop off their materials. And this will be at the city's discretion to call and ask for this, no additional cost to the city or customers. So really happy with that. A couple more elements that I want to bring up that we're changing or proposing in the amendment. One is to align the annual CPI and the disposal fee adjustment. So as you probably know, in your current contract, you have a rate increase in November and then another one in January. And so what we're doing is we're going to align those both to January 1st. You won't have 2 increases during the year, just one big one. But in order to do this, because there'll be 2 months of waste management revenue that's missing, we have just a one-time increase in that CPI to make up for those 2 months. So we've done the math and the calculations to make sure it's fair for both the customers and waste management. But that will have one set of rates. And the great thing is that in your annual mailers, now the rates will be published. So you can compare and you can see exactly what 32 gallon card costs, exactly what 64 gallon card costs. They'll also be sending those mailers to multifamily and commercial accounts, not just residential. Waste Management's going to increase their monthly reporting. The current contract, they report customer complaints, missed collection, missed deliveries only once a year. Now they're going to provide that monthly so that city staff can monitor that and make sure if there's complaints that they get resolved in a timely fashion.
Will that be posted online or is that like paper that gets sent?
The reporting part,
Yeah.
that will be on the Waste Management Inspire database. So city staff have access, they can log in and look at that report every month. And the last element of the proposed contract amendment is changing the wording to eliminate the excise tax on the disposal component. Now, this is a very, very mouthful. But when the King County rate for structure was implemented, the new fixed annual charge last year, there was some wording that was in there to adjust the excise tax when there was a change in disposal that shouldn't have been in your contract. It was just kind of copied from other contracts. This is a very, very minor thing. It may change residential accounts by like 1 cent, but it is in the city and customer's favor. So what we'll probably see by eliminating this is the residential customers will have 1 penny less of an increase than they expected. So it is in the favor. So this is a good thing. And if anybody wants to dive deep in this, I'm happy to talk about it, but most people don't want to. Next slide, please. So our next step, we have an amendment, you have copies of that. Right now it is with Waste Management for their attorneys to do the final review. Then we'll go to the city's attorney for review. They're working on finalizing the 2025 rates with that one-time little bump to shift from the November 1st to the January 1st annual increase date. And so we're hoping our timeline will be back here on October 15th for a formal presentation for acceptance of this amendment. Next slide, and I'm happy to answer any questions about this.
I had a question before about a neighbor has to wheel his trash across the street before they pick it. And if it's gonna stay the same, that's fine too, but I just was curious.
I might defer to, I don't know, we can
did talk with waste management about this, which you would like to see.
They told me that they had taken care of that, so I'll be glad to give them, my representative a call. If you would send me an email, so I can have it, and that'll remind me that I will call her and follow up. Please.
Okay, yeah, he's still wheeling across the street,
Okay.
and I think he got missed one time, I can't remember when it was, but, you know, and so that's why he started
If
wheeling.
you do that, I'll follow up with Laura, make sure, because I thought for sure she said that he didn't have to do that. When she was here, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you for all your work on this.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I can honestly say I'm very passionate about garbage. It is a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of the team and work on this.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Item 5, budget retreat follow-up.
The monitors aren't working?
Goodness gracious.
Let me connect to this other laptop real quick.
Your mic is better.
Hey, Bill, did you know it's been 59 years since Lost in Space was on?
I'm sorry.
Did you know it's 59 years ago that Lost in Space was last on TV?
Yeah.
59 years?
I'm not that old.
You're young. Bill and I know that.
Danger, go on.
That's what made me think of that. That'll be good. That'll be good conversation for the record.
Good.
And I got notes.
Would council like me to continue or?
I think so, yeah, just go ahead.
Okay. Alright, so tonight I am focused on number 3 on the priority list, which is the finance and financial technology related items and the extra help for Gary. So to start out with technology, the cheapest option to go with is updating from the current version of Springbrook Bias to the cloud version. I know in the past, Dana and I were talking about it today, in the past we've had a bunch of issues with them. We were talking about it today, and this year we really haven't had any issues. So we're kind of talking it through, and maybe it was a learning curve for us staff, maybe they were going through some staff changes too, but things are going great, so this is a viable option that we see. going to this new version would get us away from the server we have, which we would love to get away from at some point. We'd be able to work from anywhere, and being on the server, this version that we're on is becoming outdated. So this is upgrading what we currently have to the newest. And this is a 2023 quote, just a heads up. They haven't got back to me on a 2024 quote. I did attend the finance conference this last week and saw Tyler Technologies. They gave us the $90,000 quote, and they said it's still accurate today. So I don't know how in depth you want me to go for this $90,000 option. I can tell you in our general fund, it's not going to be able to be supported this next year.
So the $10,000 option would be the cloud-based version of what we currently have.
Correct.
Okay.
And you think that's gonna be fine?
You use it more on a daily basis than I do. You've been having good experience with it.
Yeah, it's just very simple questions, maybe how to run a report or something like that, so maybe half a dozen times this year I didn't reach out to them.
And when you did, was it good customer service?
Absolutely, yeah.
So this Tyler Technologies option, it's a one-time fee of $93,000 and then a reoccurring fee of $32,000 every year. Right now, our annual cost is $10,929 for our current version.
I think if that's working, considering where we are right now, I don't think it's necessary to add another $100,000 that we probably don't have right now.
And I did get a quote from a third option, Cassell. They are small agency focused. They do utilities, small municipalities. The other addition, if we were to move away from Springbrook bias, is the code enforcement module. Springbrook doesn't offer that, all these other ones do. Is it necessary? I'm not sure, but it's just an added bonus if we were to move away. Cassell would be a $60,000 upfront cost to convert, and then it would be $4,500 a month. Any questions on technology? I didn't touch on Channel 21 yet, but just the finance systems are priority. Moving on. Personnel, this is 2023 again. We're looking at, if we were to add 4.5%, we're probably looking at about $38,000 for a part-time FTE to help out the community connector. Again, this is 100% general fund. I'm going to tell you right now, Tara's going to tell you, general fund's super tight this next year.
So is, I know at the time, Gary was saying he really didn't need anybody, is he still saying the same thing?
Yeah, he still feels like he doesn't need, with Julie being downstairs too, she's been a good support for him when things do get busy.
Okay. Maybe we don't need it. Maybe we don't need the additional.
Just right now.
I think, my big thing is how Algona days goes, and I think it turned out real well with the city volunteers that we had. I think
But I'm sure he's already working on next year's.
And,
I think he has a system that works for him, and pushing him up into a corner might not be the best thing that would help him.
we're actively looking for internship programs or anything we can help bring student help during the summer. Other than that, that's all I have for tonight in regards to.
Doesn't he get some help from, the, Y in the summertime?
He does, yeah, they do their lunch program.
He
during the
thinks
summer.
that's sufficient.
It's been a huge help for sure.
Anybody
We
have
need
any?
to sit him down and really question him. Put him on the hot seat.
Yeah, spotlight him.
Anybody have any other questions? Okay. Item 6, audience participation. City council encourages public participation during meetings of the city council and welcomes your comment. This time is set aside for you to speak to city council on any issue. The council ordinarily takes non-agenda matters under advisement before taking action. You are also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each in addressing the city council. When addressing the council, please speak clearly, audibly, state your name and address for the record.